crap. We are 1 week away from the freaking finale, and I am just not processing this right now. Hey YouTube, it's Todd, and I'm back with another video. Happy Thursday to all you Pretty Little Liar lovers. There is just so much to go over with in this episode. Like, I don't even know where to begin. Let's get to it. So this week we are reviewing the episode 23, season 4, and it's called Unbridled. First of all, let me just say, oh my gosh, the girls look so amazing in their wedding dresses, even though none of them are getting married. It's for like some charity event for Miss De Laurentiis. The episode starts off with Spencer in the woods with her wedding dress, and she's running through the woods trying to find A. Right away, I know that this was not the beginning of the episode because that would be totally messed up. So let's rewind back to 48 hours earlier in the day. Basically, all the girls are in the cafe and they're talking about Miss De Laurentiis. Emily doesn't believe anything that Miss De Laurentiis claims to be. Emily says that Miss De Laurentiis is really nice and stuff and really kind and all around not a bad person. Emily proved me wrong. I thought Aria was the only clueless one in the group, but apparently not her. Emily and Spencer are heading home, and they see Jason walk by. He sees them. He speeds off. Like, he's just like, oh, I don't want to talk to them. You know, they are verbally gonna like question me, a whole bunch of stuff. That's probably why I ran off. Spencer and Emily are heading to the car to catch up to Jason, and the car won't start. Emily sees this like roll of photo film. It's all the same pictures, and it's a girl with dark hair length like to here, but there's a black dot over her face, so you don't see her face. Yeah, I was so happy when Aria and her mom reunited, but then hell broke loose when Aria got jealous. And she lashes out at her mom later in the episode. Girl, do you understand what your mom was talking about on the phone with the boyfriend? You did it, cause you were being a little diva. Okay, so a scene that I wanted to point out was a cop coming to Miss De Laurentiis' house, and they were like, you know, all this investigating, updating stuff, and how they need to investigate the body. There's an error between the file and the family photo because the thing didn't match. Miss De Laurentiis was like, cannot investigate that body. You leave my daughter in that grave. We all know that is not Allie in the grave, nor it was Cece. I'm pretty sure it was that girl Sarah. You cannot just bring in a plot about how Sarah, that looks like Allie, who died around the same time that Allie disappeared, and then drop it. So I'm putting that into consideration. It probably was Sarah, and yeah. So later on in the episode, Emily sees Jason and they talk. Jason claims that Spencer is trying to hurt the De Laurentiis family, when none of that is actually true. So Jason tells Emily about the flashback, and the flashback is just basically, and Jason was eavesdropping on Allison and her mom. So Allison and her mom walk in, and Allison tells her mom about these anonymous notes. There are notes from A. Miss De Laurentiis, being the assumption jumper, she's just like, was it Spencer? Because you know she's always been jealous of you, and like, I know she wants to ruin your life. And I'm just like, girl, take a chill pill. Like, Allison was even surprised that Miss De Laurentiis said, okay, let me just talk about Miss Hastings first of all. I don't even know, I don't have a word for how Mrs. Hastings was acting towards Spencer and Dean, because they all, okay, this is how it all went down. Dean was reading Spencer's story because she couldn't fall asleep, right? So then hours later, Spencer was asleep, Dean was asleep next to her. They were not even on top of each other. And I'm just like, what are you doing, Mrs. Hastings? She comes in and she's just like, job description. I was like, oh my gosh. I just want to punch you in the face right now, Mrs. Hastings. Are you blind? Because they were clearly not on top of each other. Dean is the counselor, but you know, he's not a freaking robot. Like, he can't be awake 24/7. He might have been tired. He might have slept for an hour or two. The house is not burnt down. Nothing is happening. I just needed to rant about that, how Miss Hastings was being so inappropriate and unfair. So, Mrs. Hastings, swerve. Miss Hastings is digging through Spencer's stuff in her room, and Spencer comes in. She's like, "Why are you looking through my stuff? Like, it's my room, my stuff. You don't touch it. You don't even look at it. You don't even smell it." Spencer was like, "Oh, I don't even trust myself if my own parents don't even trust me." But Mrs. Hastings tells Spencer about this flashback. The flashback was Mrs. Hastings was cleaning up a mess that Melissa and Spencer created because they were in a fight, you know, typical sibling fight. Allison comes up and then she's like, "Oh, what happened? What can I do to help?" And Miss Hastings pushes her away. She's like, "No, just go away." And then Mrs. Hastings was questioning her, and I'm guessing it was Spencer, and it was why she has been acting like that. Allison was like, "Oh, you know, I'd ask her, but she turned on me." So Allison turns around and she walks back to her house and she sees Spencer standing in the corner with the hoodie, staring her down. And Allison looked terrified, and I was like, well, that's the first. Mrs. Hastings was like, "Don't you remember any of this?" And Spencer was shocked, and she was like, "No, I don't remember any of it." Mrs. Hastings was like, "I don't even know. You could even have an evil twin because I never knew which one of you would come down for breakfast," because she was that bipolar. Hold the grave, and hold the shovel, hold everything. Moving on, Spencer sees Mrs. De Laurentiis in the woods handing someone a suitcase, and they run off, and then Spencer follows Mrs. De Laurentiis into the woods, and that's where it all happens. So at first, Spencer was looking for Allison because maybe Mrs. De Laurentiis was handing Allison the suitcase, but it wasn't Allison. It was some hooded figure. Her dress got caught in this like trapping device. It looks so old, but basically it was like this, how do I put it? It was like this thing where it closes really quickly. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but Spencer tripped on the same stump that Allison tripped on that night when Spencer was chasing her. It might have been like a coincidence, but you know, there are no coincidences in Rosewood. So meanwhile, after all of that is happening, Emily and Hannah are in Allison's room, and they're looking for something that connects with the email that Emily was looking at earlier in the episode. And they open up a closet, and Hannah sees this restaurant. I'm guessing that was Allison's way of getting in touch with people. Spencer comes back, and the girls help her out of this like dress belt thing, and when she flipped it over, there were bone pieces like scattered across the dress belt, and I was like, holy crap, that is scary as. No wonder why she was almost dying. That thing was so tight on her. Oh my god, I felt so bad for Spencer. She could barely run back. That was literally a mouthful to cover. But yeah, we got through it. Yay! You know shit gets real when Allison cries in front of anybody. But yeah, that's it for this video. If you like it, be sure to give it a big thumbs up for more weekly videos, and subscribe also because I do make videos every Thursday. But until then, see you next Thursday. Bye!